been a while.
It's been a little while, but
Yeah.
I've been around.
Now, I met another bloody fullback in my memories at Castlemaine.
Yep.
But you, where have you been around? Where you playing?
Well, Castlemaine mainly, and Northern United.
But you're originally Castlemaine
Yeah,
boy?
yeah. Went to school at Castlemaine.
Is it?
Yeah, went to Castlemaine.
Well, that explains a few things.
Talking to a few guys just the name Rod Prince came up, and a few of you might remember Rod Prince, but I went to school with Princey, and I went to school at Castlemaine, so I was on the farm down there at Newstead, so I played with Newstead when I was a young guy, and then went down to Town, played a few games down to Town, and then from there back to Castlemaine, and then Castlemaine up to the top of the tree at Northern United.
Yeah, fair enough. So they saved up for you for a fair while.
Oh, no, it was Bluey. He's gone.
He's gone, so you can say what you like.
Bluey came along and told me if you want to win a premiership, you better come with United. Because you'll never win it anywhere else.
Castlemaine wasn't all that good in those days?
No, we got the one grand final, and it was a bit sad, really. I won't talk too much about Castlemaine because that's not what we're here. But this was we made the grand final first time in forever, and the whole township, they put on a civic reception pretty much. They had the town hall booked. And,
This is before the grand final?
Before the grand final. Friday, the week before. The whole town was just on edge about winning. They all thought we were going to win. So we ended up flogged by the Dragons. Sanders gave us a real big letting and kicked about 1,000 goals, and that was the end of it. But the whole town was just so disappointed. I remember that rather sadly, actually. But from then, we moved to United, and bang, bang, bang. Premierships just came so easy. Wasn't it?
What are you saying? That really chance they might have won 4 in a row?
Oh, look, again, well, I'd love to have been here for the 3 in a row. I got 2 in a row, so the first one in 84, the second one in 85, playing, felt good at home. 86, played most games, and played a preliminary, and then missed the grand final. And then they went on to let's get back on the best again.
Well, did you play against him much?
I did play. I played against him. When I was playing for Castlemaine, I did play against him quite a bit. And I'll talk a bit about. I'm going to be repeating a little bit what Shane Trotter has said, because with fullbacks, even though Shane,
you're singing at the same song.
But Bestie was probably he was the best all-round footballer I ever came across. There was only one other footballer that sort of came a bit close, and that was Graham Teasdale, who played in Melbourne. And I think he won around or something. He was hard to beat, but Bestie was the best all-rounder that I'd ever come across, ever. By all-rounder, we talked before about his strength and his bulk. He had speed. And his judgment was outstanding. I reckon his judgment about where the ball was going to go and what his players downfield were going to do, that was outstanding. What you had to do was try and work out what he was working out. And that was the hard bit, because us fullbacks, we're all that bright, but after a while, we work it out. But no, look, I played on Bestie quite a bit at Castlemaine. Look, I don't. My memory is not as good as Shane's, but I sort of recall him giving me a bit of a hiding a couple of times, and then the other times I never gave him a hiding, but I'd hold him to maybe a couple of goals. If I held Bestie to maybe a couple of goals, 2 or 3 goals, I played a great game. So I reckon we came out. I don't know about even. Maybe we should check the scorecard, I suppose, but that was playing against him, and we had a pretty good respect for each other, playing against each other, and but then playing with him at United, I'm sort of going ahead of your questions here a bit, but playing with him was a completely different, it's a different ball game. A bit of a problem playing with him was he was right up that end and I was right down this end, so you weren't close and you weren't
you get to see each other at quarter time.
But in some ways, I rather enjoyed playing on him because it was me against him. And, yeah, we had some really good battles. I really fondly remember playing against Bestie.
Another thing with Besties that I remember well, and others here would have seen him more than me, was how good a kick for goal he was. You sit at home these days and you watch AFL and these blokes are all getting $1 million a game, and they run into an open goal and they couldn't hit a bar with a bucket of wheat. I don't know why they're so bad today, but I don't remember any of that.
No, his goal kicking was phenomenal. His record speaks for himself. And he'd get the ball, anything up to 50 metres out, and you reckon 8, 9 times out of 10 he'd nail it. So, yeah. But I'm not. Other people might have more recollections than me, but his set shots were just outstanding. I don't remember too many of the snapshots, but he probably dished it off a bit to his rovers and things then for the snapshots. But when he straight set shot was always mark it down.
But out of the mighty Swallows,
Yep.
what about social time, social occasions?
No, nothing. The game was over, and we just go home. I mean, it's a country club, and I'm a country boy. I'm farming background all the way back to it. And it's the country hospitality. It's I remember some of the older guys. Jim Geary and the Hat. Some of these old guys that just they were the old farmers, and Dougie Cale and
He's very old.
And the older generation, they mixed in with young blokes who were playing, and it was just a friendly, enjoyable sporting venue, and afterwards it was just go for it.
They were a club that very much knew how to
Party, yeah.
well, yeah, that too. They could scrape together a few dollars when they had to spend a few dollars to get out there.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Yeah, like I can remember going out to call a game at Raywood and hanging off the bloody outside because Jimmy, what's his name, wouldn't let me in the box with the scorers because we were too rowdy. And then you'd go over to the rooms, you couldn't get within, 100 metres of the rooms, just people everywhere.
oh, look, it was a very social
And the
club.
cash that was going in the till and over the bar and round the corner and behind the shed, and it's just phenomenal.
Very generous, and not just with money, generous in spirit, like I've said before, but I want to stress it, that the spirit of the club was just outstanding. Like me as an outsider, I came in at whatever it was, 31 or something, an old farm just about over the hill, and they just treated me like one of their own, and that was something I'll never ever forget. Can I just tell a little bit of a story?
Absolutely.
On Bestie, and again, I've got very good, strong memories of Ronnie Best, but one thing stuck in my mind. I'll go back a little bit. Shane talked about the interleague matches, and the interleague matches, again, I'm absolutely with Shane on this. They were the highlight of my career. I was playing with the best footballers, in Bendigo. Now I played, 4 years down with Carlton, and I reckon the quality of the players here in the interleague games was well above what I played with down there. Absolutely. And, the interleague games were something to look forward to, and that's where I, especially when Bestie was coach, he was very inclusive to the players from all other clubs. Bashing it wasn't really that much.
Yes, you were.
We fight hard, we battle.
Slips out now and then.
And in the interleague games, he'd bring you in and he'd treat you like the mate that you really were. So I remember those sort of interleague games, forever. There was a bit of play up on those as well. But Bestie and the way that he carried himself, his attitude was just outstanding. But the little story I wanted to tell was, it was in the interleague times, and I probably only met Bestie socially a few times, a couple of 2 or 3 times maybe. Wouldn't what you call a mate of any sort. Anyway, we had played an in-league game, and he rang me up at home, and I lived at White Hills at the time. He was living just not far around the corner, I think it might have been Jacob Street, I'm not sure. Anyway, he rang me up and said, "Oh, what are you doing?" I said, "Nothing, sitting at home watching the footy, watching TV." He said, "If you want to come around, you know, I've got a bit of a spa here at my place, come around." So I said, "Yeah, sure, what's going on here? You know, this is a bit unusual." But he invited me around, jumped in the spa, grabbed 3 or 4 cans, sat down, said, "Let's talk a bit of footy." So we sat in the spa, talked footy for an hour and a half, had 3 or 4 cans, and I went home. I mean, that to me was just out of the blue, treated me like a teammate, good mate, footballer. I reckon it's the type of bloke he was. He was a man for all seasons.
Yeah, too true. Mate, good on you, no more stories to tell?
I haven't got any more stories, I've run out.
I have